Welcome back once again to the years 1980 and 1981 as we continue our look at the Empire Strikes Back toy line by Kenner. Last time we checked out Luke Skywalker in Hoth battle gear and his faithful Tauntaun. This time we're staying on the frozen wasteland of Hoth to check out not one, but two toys as we take a look at the Rebel Commander and the MLC-3 or Mobile Laser Cannon here on KREED'S Collection. Hey, welcome back to another episode of KREED'S Collection. Today we're checking out the Rebel Commander and the MLC-3 from the 1980 and 1981 Empire Strikes Back toy line by Kenner. And we're not going to waste any time, so let's get started with the Rebel Commander. Even though this figure is generically listed as Rebel Commander on his card, it's actually a character named Major Bren Durlin who makes an appearance in the film The Empire Strikes Back. The problem is they put the wrong actor on the front of the packaging for this character, and you can see that it's obviously not who they based the figure off of. So let's take another look at the packaging and I'll show you what I mean. This actor is also in Empire, and he is a Rebel Commander, but he is not Major Durlin, and you can tell because he doesn't have the mustache. The character of Major Durlin has gone on to become kind of a fan favorite. I think that's due partially in fact to the actor who portrayed him in the film. You may or may not be surprised to find out that Major Durlin is portrayed by John Ratzenberger, better known as Cliff Clavin from Cheers. Even though he's Major Durlin now, there was a time when nobody knew his name. Anyway, sorry about that tangent. Here's some pretty nice detailing here on the shoulder and the vest, as well as here on the upper forearm. I like the way the quilting looks. He also has this hard plastic scarf hanging down here, which seems to be a commander thing, and we'll talk more about that here in a little bit. I like that the gloves are solid and the forearms are quilted. It helps break it up since it's all the same color. And his boots and legs also have a decent level of detail with the quilting over the knees, and then you can see the fasteners there on the front of the boots. As we come around to the back of the figure, you can see his survival pack, something they forgot to put on the Rebel troopers, and so you had to actually get mail-away packs for them. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the Rebel Commander's articulation. Here at the hip, he has a joint that can go up 90 degrees, but his leg really doesn't go back at all, unfortunately. Now here at the shoulder, he has a joint that can go up all the way around full 360 if you wanted it to. Also here at the neck, he has a joint that can look left a little, but the scarf does get in the way. He can also look right, and that is it. That covers all 5 points of articulation for the Rebel Commander. Now we're going to take a look at the Rebel Commander's included rifle. It does have a strap on it, just like Luke Skywalker, so you can put it over his shoulder. It is a different gun though, and you can see here the barrel's got some pretty cool details. There are some details molded into the side, but it's kind of hard to make out because it's so dark, and it is identical on both sides. The rifle is designed to fit on the Rebel Commander's shoulder just like this, and it's actually kind of difficult to get into his hand. While it is possible, you do really have to kind of mess with it a lot, and it puts a lot of pressure on the strap. So I never have him hold it like that. Typically I just have it over his arm on his shoulder, but you can flip it around and put the strap in his hand just like that. You can kind of cheat him holding his gun though by putting his hand on the trigger guard. Obviously he's not supposed to hold it there, but it does look pretty cool in his hand like this, and instead of it being all awkward and bent to the side, it actually looks like he's holding the gun properly. The copyright information for the Rebel Commander is located on the back of his legs. Made in Hong Kong, 1980, Lucasfilm Limited. Alright, now it's time to look at the MLC-3 or the Mobile Laser Cannon mini rig. The MLC-3 is a small tank designed for perimeter defense to patrol a facility's surrounding terrain. It's armed with a pair of medium repeating blaster cannons and moves on heavy treads with a compact chassis and a transparent dome. While it was designed for a single pilot, it can be set to run autonomously, firing at random targets. The MLC-3s were used primarily by the Rebel Alliance on Hoth to patrol Echo Base. And now that we know a bit more about the MLC-3, let's take a closer look. Here on the front of the MLC-3 are the dual repeating blasters, which have a little bit of articulation to them. They can go up, they can also go down, but the range of motion isn't huge. Because it is a mini tank, if you look here on the bottom, you'll see the treads, but they're not actually treads, they're just hard plastic. Let's go ahead and flip it over right now and take a look. So you see they use an old trick where the treads are molded, but there's actually wheels built into the bottom of it, which gives it the illusion of actually running on the treads. Let's see how well these plastic wheels roll. Alright. Not that great, but good enough. I mean, if you're pushing it, it rolls fine. Just don't expect it to set any land speed records. Like the other mini rigs, the MLC-3 was never actually in the films. I feel like the Kenner toy designers borrowed elements from other things in Star Wars. Like, for example, the dome here looks like R2-D2's head to me, and this part looks like his leg. This is actually the canopy piece, so it just opens like so, and that allows you to put a figure inside. Here's a closer look at the inner control panel, which still looks pretty good, except for a little bit of scuffing there from taking figures in and out through the years. And while we're talking about putting a figure in it, let's go ahead and do that. So we'll go ahead and open up the canopy. We'll take the Rebel Commander, and you got to squeeze his legs together just a little bit, not much. They slip in just like so. Make sure you seat it properly, and then close it up, and his head is inside the little bubble. Here's a closer look at the Rebel Commander inside the MLC-3. I was always fascinated by this as a kid, his little head sitting inside the bubble like that. And I was also fascinated by how well engineered the cockpit is. As you see, it opens and closes, and it just perfectly misses him. Really nice engineering. They also did a great job of hiding the hinge, and the sticker is held up nice too. But yeah, right there's the hinge, and if you ask me, you really can't even tell it's there. On the bottom of the MLC-3 is the copyright information. Lucasfilm Limited, 1981, made in Hong Kong. And now for our He-Man size comparison. Of course, He-Man is much bigger than the Rebel Commander and the MLC-3. And he knows all about tanks, since we just covered the attack track last week, and it just occurred to me that I did 2 tanks 2 weeks in a row. Oh well. And while we're here, I want to do a Luke Skywalker size comparison, because Luke Skywalker is a Rebel Commander at this point in his career, and I noticed a bunch of similarities in their uniforms. For example, they both have the same quilting pattern on their shoulders, their forearms, and their gloves are similar as well. Also, above their boots, they have the same quilting pattern and the same boots. They also have the scarf hanging off the side of their head, and they have the rifle that they wear on their shoulder. There are some color and equipment differences, but I never noticed before that technically Luke is wearing the outfit of a Rebel Commander. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my toy retrospective for the Rebel Commander and the MLC-3 from the 1980 and 1981 Empire Strikes Back toy line by Kenner. The MLC-3 is yellowed a little bit, but I think it's held up really well, and I'm extremely pleased with how well my Rebel Commander is held up. And this video is kicking off May the Force Be With You May. All month long, we're going to be taking a look at Star Wars toys, starting right now with this video, which I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please leave a thumbs up. And if you have any thoughts, please leave a comment. I love reading and responding to them. And while you're at it, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. It would help my channel grow. I do a retrospective on a toy or toys from my vintage collection every Wednesday. So hope to see you next week and every week after, here on KREED'S Collection.